I am Lamont at Large, and I am coming to you from the Palm Cemetery here in Las Vegas, Nevada. There are a few celebrity graves right here. So we're going to go look at some famous folks. Perhaps you might have heard of them. They were very world-renowned and very famous people, so let's go visit their graves, shall we? Okay, so we are at the grave of Tony Curtis. I'm sure many of you have heard of this man. He was a very famous actor in the 50s and 60s. I know him from the movie with Jack Lemmon and Marilyn Monroe, Some Like It Hot, that my sister made me watch when I was 8 years old. At first part of the movie, I was like, man, this movie is boring. Being 8 years old, you don't really have much of a understanding of adult humor, but the movie wasn't bad. And that's where I know him from. And of course, he is the father of actress Jamie Lee Curtis. He also played the Boston Strangler in the movie, which was one of his last major roles in a movie, was in the late 60s. And here he resides in Las Vegas, Mr. Tony Curtis. Okay, this is the grave of legendary boxer Diego Chico Corrales. I was a pretty big fan of this dude. He was very well-known, very famous fighter in the late 90s, early mid-2000s. He fought Jose Luis Castillo in 2005, one of my favorite fights I've ever seen in my life. That was the golden time of boxing, in my opinion, was when this man was fighting him, Castillo, De La Hoya, Mayweather, Trinidad, all those guys. Just a great time in boxing that, in my opinion, will never, ever be the same ever again. And this guy, just a great fighter. And remember the day he died, I was on my phone. I was just looking up stuff on ESPN, and it showed that he had died in a motorcycle accident. He was on his bike, and he slammed into the backside of a car and was thrown from his bike into oncoming traffic, and then was struck right on Fort Apache. And I was pretty close to where he was killed. I was on that same side of town. Very sad to hear that he had died, man, because I really like this guy. He was drunk at the time. He made a bad decision. That was it. And it ultimately cost him his life. So, this guy was a multi-millionaire and just famous all over the world, and just a great fighter. 130-pound champ, 135-pound champ right here. The legendary Diego Chico Corrales, guys. This guy was just a true showman, true fighter right here. Okay, here we have Robin Leach. If you don't know his name, you probably know his TV show, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, Champagne Wishes and Caviar Dreams. Caviar Dreams here. I used to watch this man's TV show when I was a kid. It would come on around 5 o'clock on the Fox affiliate in Los Angeles. And I would watch the show, because after that show, guess what other show would come on? Small Wonder with Vicky the Robot. So I would sit and watch this guy's TV show. And I liked it, though. It was a life that I would never be able to live. And he would just go and talk to people, rich, famous people, and just show their houses, their boats, their toys, this and that. I wish that show were still on. It was a very good show. Hopefully maybe they could make that show again. Maybe, I believe he has a son. Maybe he can take over for his dad. But there will never be another Robin Leach. And it was just a fantastic show. And you can catch it on YouTube. There is some uploads of that show if you ever want to check it out. Mr. Leach, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Okay, we got Alice Jeanette Herget right here, better known to some of you as Kitty Fox. If you don't know who she is, if you remember sneaking into your parents' closet to look at their dirty movies, this lady might have been the star of one or two of them. She was an adult film star, primarily in the 80s and early 90s. And, she was pretty famous in her own right. She died of a stroke, or complications from having a stroke, on September 21st of 2006. She actually didn't start doing adult movies until she was well into her mid-40s, I believe. So kind of a late bloomer in that aspect. Coincidentally enough, her stepson died on the same day that she did. He's right there, and then this is her husband. He died a year previous to her. Yeah, she moved here to Las Vegas in the early 80s, and she was a nail tech and a showgirl in one of the shows out here, and somebody approached her about doing dirty movies, and she said, well, sure, why not? Sign me up. The legendary Kitty Fox, ladies and gentlemen, a legend in her own right. And here we have the legendary comic Redd Foxx. This man was a hilarious stand-up comic. He also had a very famous TV show where I got my name from. His son's name on the TV show, the character's name was Lamont, and that's where my mother named me from. This is Redd Foxx. And I believe he died of a heart attack. And it's so funny how he was so rich and famous and he has this regular grave. I guess he was broke at the time of his death. He didn't have that much money left. He had just started a TV show. And I think it was going into the second season. I know that it was a pretty funny TV show, and they had talked that they were going to renew it. This is his mother right here, Mary Carson. She died about a year and a half after he did. So, ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Redd Foxx. One of the funniest guys that have ever lived. Live, but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. I am Lamont at Large. Thank you for watching. Always appreciate it. Peace out.